The hoteliers should be always looking into the future, even more now than before, because I think there's a big change coming. There's a revolution coming. We're losing a lot of staff, and we really need to look into how are we going to catch them, how are we going to leave our staff that we have with us, let them stay with us, but how are we going to catch new staff? We need to look into everything what startups are doing already, with 4 days a week, with flexible working hours, with home office. Things like these need to be implemented ASAP, because if not, we're going to run really low.
Lean into technology. We're there to help. And automation, personalization, we can do all that with technology.
There's so much out there that hotels can still do and upsell to their guests, right? It's not only about the rooms revenues. We see that over 40% of the upsell revenue generated across our portfolio actually comes from services. So for hotels that are not yet maximizing their revenues using that, there's still so much potential.
One of the biggest challenge with this, not necessarily related to COVID, but COVID was kind of a catalyst, is the staff situation, the way how we lead people, how people follow us, what we do with staff members, and how do we get new people in, talents especially. That's going to be a very interesting one.
We need to start thinking and realizing that actually a lot of the industry has left our actually pool of employees, not just because they were furloughed or because they were laid off, but mainly because they have now the opportunity and they've seen the other side. We've got huge pools of soft skills in our industry, and we need to know that also it's super valuable skills for other companies out there, other industries. So we need to actually rethink the way that we offer our benefits, how do we retain our employees, and how do we make our hotels attractive? Because this is what's going to determine how your operation is going to be and the great experience that you offer ultimately to the guests.
Don't lose sight of the brand, I think, because now I've heard everybody mentioning that it's so hard to find people and that you work with skeleton teams, and I think if the branding is not in place, they can't really fall in love with your brand anyway. So why would they apply at your hotel instead of the other?
After the crisis comes a period of prosperity and high demand, and if you want to grab the biggest slice of that big lemon that's thrown at you, well, then you need some technology to help you out, because obviously you don't have people to do it. It's impossible in parts to do it with humans, so this is why you need it.
Be creative, talk to your staff, think about new packages you can put in your booking engine. So there's so much more to do.
I think hoteliers should not only think short term, but really long term. There's a big change coming. So if you think a few steps further, then this could really help you to be on the right bus for the future.
We should get away from this ideal image that guests travel to have a check-in experience at a counter, right? Guests travel to see a new destination, right? The main motivation to travel is not to queue at reception, that I always say as a joke. So I think all those hurdles which you need to overtake in order to experience a destination, those we should make as easy as possible, and Corona just speeds this entire process up. And I think if you want to build a brand or a company, or if you're building a hotel for tomorrow, for the future, you need to have that in mind.
Resources are short, so we have to change processes, especially at the check-in, where we can put software to do administrative work, which doesn't create any business value for the hotel.
Booking patterns have changed significantly. The guests that they usually used to cater to are potentially not the guests they're catering to at the moment. And hotels are having a real issue to understand what are their new guests, which booking patterns do they use, which booking patterns do they have, and how they should position their product. So the one big recommendation would be to really try and use systems and really base our decisions on data to make sure that we understand who are the guests that are now coming into our property and how we should shift our product to make sure that we are as visible as possible to these guests.
I think one of the most important topics we see now is obviously that technology is not replacing people, but that's having an opportunity out there to optimize the complete guest experience, especially in times where it's hard to get staff to train staff and all these kind of topics.